What's up, guys, and welcome to episode 25 of the Yard podcast. I'm your host, Randy.
And I'm your host, Konu.
And we are here to talk about the NLDS, go over that really quickly, but most importantly, the NLCS. But really quickly, do us a favor and don't forget to hit that subscribe button, leave us a rating on the podcast. We would appreciate it, as well as giving our social media a following at Dodger Yard, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, all of that good stuff. And then you can find my personal at Randy_Radcliffe.
And you can find my personal at Michael Konu, MYKLKONU. Real quick, before you got into the DS, I just wanted to say rest in peace to Joe Morgan. Baseball lost a really big figure today. I wasn't alive, obviously, for his playing days, but he's regarded as one of the better second basemen in history. And growing up, Saturday Night Baseball was one of the better things about the week because of the calling by John Miller and Joe Morgan. So rest easy, Joe.
We've been losing a lot of legends in the baseball world recently, and it's very unfortunate. 2020 has been hard enough, and then you have all these things coming up. Not good at all for anyone. But I will say,
Saturday Night Baseball now sucks.
Yeah, I will say though, good news, doesn't have to do with baseball, but of course has to do with the city of LA. Congratulations to the Lakers, Laker fans. For those that know, I don't do basketball much, but with everything that's happened this year, the Lakers needed to go out and win it, and I'm glad they did. The city
Not
needed
a Laker
it.
fan. I was more of a Kobe fan, but congrats to the Lakers. Thank you for doing it for Kobe and Gigi.
Yeah, I'm happy. When I do watch basketball, I'm not much of a Laker fan because I know how intense that fan base is, and I wasn't about to claim them as my team if I wasn't gonna be all into it. So, but as soon as with everything that happened with Kobe and his daughter, that they needed that. So I'm very, very happy the Lakers pulled that one out. And so now we need the Dodgers to do it, and we're on our way to it. Swept the Padres. We're now into the NLCS. The Dodgers, in my opinion, and I'm not sure there's many people, I don't know what you can argue, but they looked fantastic in the NLDS. Offense was going off on all cylinders. Pitching did their thing. My biggest thing, which I don't know how much attention you've paid to this, but my biggest thing that I was so happy with about the NLDS was seeing guys like, of course, we've seen Mookie and Dodger Blue in the playoffs now for 5 games. In the NL wild card, he was fantastic. But I've mentioned it. My biggest concern when they made the trade was his October numbers. That has not been a thing since. I know it's only been 5 games, but he is playing some of the best, I think, October baseball he ever has. Corey Seager, Cody Bellinger, all of these guys, AJ Pollock, all guys in the past who have been, Austin Barnes, pretty much awful for us come October. I know Pollock's only been here 1 year, but we've watched Bellinger and Seager year after year fall apart come October. And seeing all of these guys step up and play has been one of probably the most exciting thing for me, that has given me the feeling like maybe this is finally the year. Because in years past, pitching had showed up, bullpen had shown up, granted, have a couple bad games, but overall for me, it's always been the offense has been holding us back from winning. And when you have your 1 through 9 guys hitting, which is happening right now outside of Taylor's the only guy who had more than 10 at bats that did not get a hit. Other than that, everyone on the team's hitting. And they're hitting well. You don't have guys really just going 1 for 20. The next worst one, I think, was Justin Turner. We talked about briefly, and that's a huge surprise that you see Justin Turner struggling October.
Because he's been our best postseason hitter.
Yeah, and I got to say, it's nice that for once it doesn't feel like Turner, Muncy, and Jock have to carry the whole load. Like, Muncy he was struggling a ton. He's been much better in the playoffs. Jock struggled a ton in the regular season. He's done decent the couple of bats he's had. But Justin Turner, not too good, 2 for 10. He has had 3 RBIs, though, 3 walks, and he's scoring a few, but his OPS is sitting at about 600. And in years past, if that was happening, I would have been freaking out. Now it's like, I feel like I'm not even paying attention to it. Like it just doesn't even bother me at all that he's not hitting, because he doesn't have to. Of course I want him to, but he doesn't have to right now. A fun fact I picked up, which was insane. I don't know if you paid attention to this. You know, there was only 1 home run in the entire NLDS, or 1 home run for the Dodgers, 3 in the entire.
Yeah.
in NLDS. Like, that's insane when you realize these are two of the teams that hit a lot of home runs, especially the Dodgers, which again, another big reason why I'm feeling confident. They're not relying just on
Yeah, the
the long
manufacturing runs
ball.
very well.
Yeah, and we saw that really well in a couple of the games. Did you pay attention to that double steal from game 2?
Yeah, in the 7th inning, yeah.
Yeah, that
And
was
I heard
that.
Seager say that Mookie said that there's going to be opportunity for it, and they took it.
Yeah, that was apparently all set up by Mookie, which again, of course it was, because Mookie keeps doing all of that for us.
His baseball IQ is ridiculous.
Yeah, and that's something I really appreciate. I feel like a lot of people don't take those things into effect when you look at players. A great player is fantastic, but without a baseball IQ, you can only get so far with a great player. And those 2 runs ended up becoming huge, considering the Dodgers only won 6-5 that game. So bringing in both of those runs was big. Game 2, I think, though, the biggest thing we saw was Bellinger robbing a home run and all of the good stuff that led to. That was probably my favorite moment of the NLDS, just because
Absolutely.
it hyped everybody up. Gratterall did not care in the slightest. However, do you know what started it, or at least do you think you know what started it? I don't know if you saw that.
I didn't. All I saw was him throw his hat, and then all of a sudden him and Machado were going back and forth, and Machado just kept saying "fuck you."
So yeah, that's all Machado could say. He literally had nothing else to say, and that was the best part. Like, that's all he could say the entire time. But so the Dodgers, they scored the 3 runs in the bottom of the 3rd, and they took the lead. They're winning 3-1. Grisham caught the 3rd out while running to center field, like right center a little bit, caught it right on the track. He took the ball and threw the ball into the Dodgers bullpen. He just tossed it. Grisham's kind of been a douchebag, I feel like, every time we've played him. Like, his confidence, I'm all for confidence, but when you're this new into the league, like, you need to chill, especially in the like, earn it first, not when you're losing 3-1. Like, chill out, especially you haven't won a game in the series. Like, take it easy. So then Bellinger comes up and crushes that home run in the 4th inning, and he took his sweet ass time rounding the bases. I think he was kind of getting back at Grisham for that. Like, we saw, because the Dodger bullpen threw the ball back. I don't know if you saw that.
I did not see that. All I saw was him throw the ball in the bullpen, and then Will Myers kind of look at him like, "What the hell are you doing?"
Yeah.
And then Will Myers just stood there.
And then like, someone caught it. I didn't see it initially. Someone pulled it up on Twitter. I forgot who it was, but you see Grisham running in, and the ball is rolling right next to his feet. So a Dodger player threw that back. So you know that they all know something like that's going on. And Bellinger never takes his time rounding the bases. Like, he's a pretty quick, let me get to my point. He doesn't really bat flip unless, like, someone else has disrespected him before, like we've seen with the Diamondbacks. So he doesn't really do stuff like that. And he took his time. And then you have him robbing the go-ahead home run from Tatis in the 7th inning when they're still losing. They're having a hard time scoring, especially Tatis. Tatis didn't do shit against the Dodgers after having a really good series against the Cardinals. So that was insane. Gratterall's out here pissing everybody off, and I'm all for it. Like, the dude has fun. I have never in my life seen a player throw their glove or their hat to celebrate a catch. Now, when they win a playoff series or like a no-hitter, sure, or a perfect game, but like, you almost just gave up a go-ahead home run and you threw your hat and your glove and pissed off the entire world for it. And I love it, because you know what? I don't think Gratterall is a cocky dude. I think he's very confident. And I think in that moment, he was celebrating Cody. He was not celebrating himself. He was not celebrating, yeah, I had a 1, 2, 3. Well, not a 1, 2, 3, but everyone took it as like, bro, you're acting like you're celebrating like you just won a World Series. Like, I don't think that was the case at all. Gratterall, they've said it from day one, has been a fantastic teammate. The guys love him. I think he was totally pumped up and happy for Bellinger. And he didn't even look at the Padres. He looked right at the Dodgers dugout, walked right towards them. He didn't even know what was going on until you see Muncy walking out of the dugout, like, looking like he's about to go attack Machado, standing at home plate, telling him, like, get the fuck out of here, like, go back to, you can see him, he says, go the fuck back to your dugout.
Little
everything.
bitch.
Yeah, and he called him a little bitch, like everything. And that was, I don't know. I loved it. I know a lot of Dodger fans said that MLB keeps trying to make this a rivalry. I think it is absolutely going to become a rivalry, even if it's just a division rival. I don't think it's ever going to be what the Dodgers and Giants have. That is a totally different scale. But I'm sorry, I love the Dodgers and Giants rivalry, but it is so damn boring right now, especially with Bumgarner and Puig gone. It's not fun for me. The Giants are not a fun team to watch. The games are boring. So if the Padres can bring some of that excitement back, that gives us some of those kind of feel in the games, even if we kick their ass, I'm all for it. It was a lot of fun.
I think the Padres are going to be the next rival. I know the Diamondbacks have been trying for years to make themselves the new rival because they would always start some shit a few years back, and I was just like, guys, it's not working. Stop. But with the Padres, I can definitely see them being a rival because I think they're going to be good for a long time.
Yeah, same here. And I'm for it because I think the fun thing with the Dodgers and the Padres is they're both two very, very young teams. So there's plenty of time for it to be a rivalry and to be a long time, kind of like Bumgarner and Puig. That wasn't just a 1 or 2 year thing. That had built up over years. And I think that's what's going to be fun. You've got Mookie in LA for another 12 years. You've got Machado in San Diego for another 8 years. They're probably not ever going to let Tatis walk away. Dodgers are probably not ever going to let Bellinger or Buehler walk away. So a lot of these pieces could stay here for a long time, which could make it that much more fun. And I got to admit, having that happen and pulling out of that game and winning 6-5, it made game 3 that much more fun when they came out and just put a total beating on the Padres. Like they didn't even, the Dodgers came out and it looked a little sketchy at first, thanks to Kolarek. But, oh man, that game was so much fun. And Urias was on a different level that game. Like you had mentioned before this, we talked about it. Will Smith had not done a thing in the NLDS, and then he comes in and has 5 hits in the game, which is a postseason record for most hits by a Dodger in a postseason game. He's also the first catcher in MLB history to have 5 hits in a postseason game. It's only the 9th player to have 5 hits in a game. So on top of everything else going on, you now have Smith, who's been hitting the ball hard all season, come out. He's killing it that game. You have Turner, who passes Steve Garvey for the most postseason hits in franchise history when he had his 64th.
Oh, is that why he was asking for the ball? I saw him asking for the ball.
Yeah.
I was confused at first. Okay.
Yeah, he passed Garvey when he got his 64th hit. So now he leads the Dodgers for most postseason hits in franchise history. It's probably going to be a while before anyone passes that up unless Seager and Bellinger are here for quite some time and all of a sudden heat up because
Mookie passed it at some point.
Yeah, possibly. Turner just, if Mookie keeps doing what he's doing this October for the Dodgers, then absolutely. But Turner did this in a very short span with the team. He wasn't there very long, but to make the playoffs every single year.
When did he come? 2014 or was it before that?
Yeah, it was 2014. But yeah, that to make the playoffs every single year, you've been in the playoffs for, I mean, you're averaging like 10 plus hits a postseason, and that's insane. And the Dodgers obviously have to get deep enough to allow him that opportunity. Yeah. If they're getting knocked out of the NLDS every year, he's not going to have that chance. But I think it's safe to say there's a very good chance that Mookie Betts, not safe to say because baseball's crazy, but I think it's safe to say Mookie has at least another good, probably 8 to 10 years in the postseason with the Dodgers, if not possibly all 12, the way this development is working and the way this team is. But Mookie will probably pass that, and I'm all for it. Any guy that's going to be with our team for 13 years, you can happily sit at the top of any leaderboard for me. So that was really all I had for the NLDS. We saw a couple concerning things with Buehler. I think we'll see what happens tonight. His command was really bad in game 1, especially the first 2 innings. Walked the bases loaded, but then he got back-to-back strikeouts to escape that jam, which was huge. He did look a lot more like himself after the first 2 innings, and he didn't give up that run until the 4th inning, but we're going to need Buehler to go deeper than 4 innings, especially in an NLCS where there's no off days. This is potentially a 7-game series. I can't imagine the Dodgers sweep the Braves. The Braves are way too good. They're the two best teams in baseball when it comes to offense. I think it was OPS or OPS plus. They are also both two of the best teams when it comes up to barrel percentage. They're pitchers when it comes to hitting. So this isn't going to be an easy series by any means. And if our guy who's supposed to be our October kind of ace isn't at his best and at least giving us 5 to 6 innings every outing, it could get a little concerning. But other than that, I mean, the whole team killed it. Everybody out of the bullpen did great, except for really Kolarek. But
Jansen.
Yeah, and Jansen, and even Joe Kelly. I don't know what the hell happened there. I think
I want to give him a little bit of a pass because he hadn't pitched in a while before that.
Yeah, that's true.
Like some weeks or maybe like a week or so. But so I was surprised he got thrown in there, but thankfully he got the job done. Wasn't pretty, but
did you see that man's smirk when they got the last out of the game?
No, my dad showed me it, and I was just trying to think of why he would be smirking.
Because he knows he got them in a position.
Got away with it?
Yeah, because I think he knew, like, oh shit, I almost blew this whole thing, and like he's kind of smiling, like I got us out of it, but that could have been really bad, and it could have been.
And Hosmer hit the ball hard too, though.
Yeah, and I think that's another reason why he was smiling, was kind of like, I got lucky there, like, and like I said, they barely won that game, so yeah, Jansen. I don't know. I think he hit 94 and then all of a sudden went back down to like 89, 90 the rest of the game.
That's the thing. That's the thing that was weird to me is like it started off with Will Myers, right? And then he was pumping 94. He got Will Myers to strike out, and then it just completely fell apart from there. And I don't know what happened. Like, how do you go from throwing 94, striking out Will Myers, who's all of a sudden know how to hit this season, and then go back to what we saw against the Brewers? Yeah, obviously it was a lot worse because the Brewers can't hit, but the Padres can. So it got bad.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, when you're closer over an inning and a third, because he had the two appearances, but giving up 2 earned runs, and that can't happen. Not from your closer. And I don't care that he pitched in back-to-back games. That does not matter to me. If you want that closer role, you better be able to come out and pitch back-to-back games in October. Otherwise, you are not a closer and you're just a bullpen piece that's going to play due to matchups, which is how this should be. I have said it and I'll continue saying it. I am over the closer role. This is 2020. We've seen teams do pitching matchups way too much. This is the postseason. I want the best possible pitching matchup. Whichever player is going to get us the win is who should be out there. And I think right now, most of the fan base can agree that that's not really Kenley Jansen, at least not without any like freaking out in the meantime. And against the Braves.
But the question becomes like, who do you go with? Just because of this stupid rule, you have to face 3 batters. It's like, who do you lean on?
That rule really pissed me off when Kolarek came into the game, because Kolarek should have been pulled out so much sooner, but he couldn't. Same with Joe Kelly. Man, Joe Kelly should have
him being in the game.
But like even with Joe Kelly, like when you see he doesn't have it, Roberts had no choice but to leave them in. And that was just awful. I hate that rule. They say it's supposed to help speed up the game. I don't think it does, because you have guys like Kolarek who sucked and just continued to let guys get on base, and then you bring in Urias.
That's going to prolong the game,
Yeah, like we didn't have to go through all that at first. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not upset with Kelly.
I did want to say that it looks like they've kind of been leaning heavily on China, and I think he has pitched in every game except for one. But I'm slightly concerned about it just because we saw what it did to Morrow. Now, I know Morrow had a full season and China didn't, but still, giving these pitchers having to pitch in back-to-back games, it's going to tire their arms out sooner or later. So I'm hoping, I mean, they kind of need him, but I'm hoping they scale it back a little bit and use maybe a Victor Gonzalez a little more, or rely on somebody else.
Yeah. Gonzalez only got 1 inning in the NLDS. I wouldn't have mind seeing him more. We never even saw McGee show up.
No. We didn't see him in the wildcard series either, did we?
I don't think so. Same with Baez. Like, we're barely seeing. I think he started warming up, but did he even ever? Yeah, he did come in. I think. He did. Yeah. So I don't know. But yeah, Trinan 2 1/3. You have May coming out 3 innings. I'm very curious to see what they do with him now that it's you have to win 4 games
Four
instead of
games, yeah.
3. So he's been great. 3 innings pitched over those 2 games, 0 hits, 0 runs, 4 strikeouts, only 1 walk. It seemed to be a little bit cleaner than anything he did during the regular season.
Yeah,
But
I was really upset that they took him out.
yeah,
And it's like I just wanted to see what he was going to be able to do. Like I know some people gave me explanations like there were a bunch of lefties coming up, but it's like, well, he's a starting pitcher. He's going to have to get these lefties out at some point. So just let him go through the lineup and see what he can do. And they brought in Kolarek and he did nothing. So it was very irritating. But shout out to Julio because he really came on and he really did his thing. He was throwing his curveball all over the zone, in the zone. His command so far this postseason, I don't know where this Julio's been, but I'm glad he's finally showed up, and I like it. He's even so he's throwing his fastball at 94, 95, and he's still blowing it by people because he's locating that curveball so well, and he's getting more spin on his curve than usual. So shout out to Julio.
if he can figure out whatever it is that first inning is like his kryptonite, if he can figure that out, he's going to be one of the best pitchers we have this October because what he did was insane. You come into the game with bases loaded. Your team is already losing 2-1. It's 2 outs. You come in the second inning to clean up for someone else and you strike out Fernando Tatis. That's huge. And sure, he's not hitting against the Dodgers. That's fine. But someone like Tatis has a swing that could have changed the game, like we saw if Bellinger didn't rob that home run. Could have changed the game very quickly. And the Dodgers, there's a good chance they don't win that game. Because I think that Urias inning ended up hyping the team up, hyped up Urias because he came out, he kept going, kept killing it, had no issues. So he had the 1 inning. It was the bottom of the 6th. I forget how one of the runners got on. I want to say it was a error to start the inning, or it was a play that possibly should have been made because he only gave up 1 earned run, or 1 run. And
he balked to Machado.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, because he gave up 1 run but 0 earned. And he had come out in the bottom of the 6th. Padres had runners on second and third with no outs, and they only scored the 1 run. So that you can't really ask for much more from your pitcher when they come out. He was actually the only pitcher in franchise history that was considered a relief pitcher to strike out 6 hitters in a game. So first Dodger relief pitcher to do that. He was on it. They had no chance. They blew him out. They won 12-3. And they celebrated sweeping the Padres as if like it was a normal day. You wouldn't even have known they won if you watched the celebration. They did absolutely nothing.
Did you hear Pollock's response saying it's like 12:30? And that's why it was like kind of
yeah, well, he didn't even care. He's like, it's 12:30. I'm tired. I want to go to bed. I'm like, yeah. Oh my God, being a Dodger fan, like we're so damn spoiled. Like imagine sweeping the Padres, like this exciting team, beating them 12-3. And the fan base doesn't even care enough to really celebrate. Like you got a bunch of yay, let's go on Twitter, but that was it. And then like you have the players who like shook hands, like Bellinger, nobody like really even smiled. You saw guys walk out of the dugout and like give little high fives. But
shout out to Kobe, but job's not finished.
Yep. Yeah. And did you see Mookie's Instagram story today?
I didn't.
He posted on Instagram this morning a little video like he does every day on game day or after a game, at least through the playoffs. And it says job's not finished. So I know that was an ode to Kobe, especially after the Lakers win last night. And I think that's how this whole team is. And I think that's how the fan base is. It's exciting. They went on to the next round, bring on the NLCS, but I won't really be able to celebrate that much till they win the NLCS. And even then, we've been to the World Series twice in the last couple of years. They need to finish it. I'm excited. I want to see it. I want to see them there. I want to see them win. But it's hard to let too much of that excitement get to you until they win it. when you do this every year for not the World Series, but when you do playoffs every year for 8 years and you're expected to win the last few years, it's not that exciting to get past the first, what should have been only the first round of playoffs. So the NLCS will be huge. Max Fried on the mound tonight against Walker.
They announced it? Okay.
Yeah, Walker Buehler. So that is a 5:08 start time for Los Angeles.
I was wondering if they were going to go with Fried just because Ian Anderson has been their best pitcher of this postseason, but since Fried's a left-hander, I think they know Dodgers can't hit left-handed pitching. So
I was going to
see how it start.
I was going to say I think they're hoping to pull a game out, game one, because it's not like the starting rotation gets any easier for the Dodgers as you go. It's not like you got to just win game one and then you're past their best pitcher. Like, that's not how this works with the Dodgers starters. Like, then you got to face Kershaw, then you got to go probably Gonsolin, then probably May. And then if you get to a game 5, maybe Buehler again. If not, they decide to throw Urias in. So, yeah, it'll be interesting.
Or they can go Alex Wood.
I know this is a podcast, but I can see you on video right now and you can see me, and I didn't even have anything to say but to stare off into the abyss. Yeah, Alex Wood is on the roster for anybody who was curious. No more Gavin Lux, no more Terrence Gore. Happy Edwin Rios is back. Not a fan of Alex Wood being back personally. No offense to Alex Wood, but he is a garbage time arm, and those innings just don't happen very much come playoffs. If we're down 4 or 5 runs, I'd rather not end up being down 7 or 8 runs. This offense still has a chance. If we're up 5 or 6 runs, I'd rather not lose that lead to become 2 to 3. So, but Alex Wood is back on the roster for those of you. That's why that joke was not very funny.
Yeah, if he's pitching meaningful innings, I'm scared.
Yeah, you told me that you thought, like we had mentioned, because Alexander's not on the roster, which I find a little interesting. I don't know what's going on there. To
me, that just meant that they had more confidence in Wood than Alexander, which, I mean, I'm not there every day. I don't personally get it. At least Alexander can get some ground balls, but I don't know.
Yeah, the Alex Wood and his 6+ ERA this season doesn't make me feel very confident. He hasn't pitched in the wild card. He didn't pitch in the NLDS. I'm hoping we don't see him in the NLCS, because if we do, that worries me. Granted, I'd like to see us blow the Braves out. Not sure I really see that happening. They're a very good team. I think if these games are going to be very close, and either team has the chance. Both teams are very capable of coming back from a 5-run deficit, whatever the case may be. None of these teams are, if you blow them out, you're guaranteed a win. Neither team. So I'm hoping we just get 6+ innings from our starters every day, and then we probably don't see Alex Wood if that is the case. So I saw someone, I think it was Chad Moriyama on Twitter had said it, that it could just be if they brought, or maybe it was Daniel Brim, it was one of them. They had said on Twitter that with them bringing up Alex Wood, they're assuming it is not high leverage that he will be pitching, because if that were the case, they think it would have been Alexander. So it kind of sounds like maybe it's just garbage time innings, like hey, if we need you because there's no off days and we have no other choice, then we'll give it to you. But other than that, we shall see. Like I mentioned plenty of times, no days off. Something else to watch tonight. Neither the Dodgers nor the Braves have lost a playoff game through the first 2 rounds. So someone is going to go 5-1 tonight while the other team moves on to 6-0. Walker Buehler continues to strike out plenty of guys. Well, he had another 8 strikeout outing, which means his streak that I talked about, I think it was 2 episodes ago. If he can strike out 7 Braves in tonight's start, he will tie Randy Johnson for most consecutive postseason appearances with 7+ strikeouts ever with 9 games. This is not to start a career. This is not your first 9 postseason games. This is 9 postseason appearances in general. And Randy Johnson is the only player to have ever done it. And if Walker Buehler does it tonight, he will have tied him. So that just goes to show what Buehler is capable of in the playoffs this year, a little bit sketchier than those in the past. He said it himself, his outing against the Padres, he said reminded him of his outing in 2000, I think it was 18 in the NLDS against the Braves, where he got the bases loaded and he looked good. And it was just that one bad pitch happened to go over the fence when the Braves hit a grand slam. So I don't see that happening. Fans are allowed in for the NLCS. It's going to be very different. I'm actually very curious to see what they do there, because do you still pump in crowd noise? There's going to be less than 12, maybe like 13,000 fans if you add in family members. You're also in a pod. So I'm wondering, like, are all these fans just going to be in a glass bubble that like the players can't even hear them cheering? Because a pod to me means like you can't, it's not a net, like you're in a pod. So I'm wondering how much the cheering is actually going to matter, how they're actually going to do all of that. And we'll have our answer tonight when we see video. But the players seem excited. Fans are going to be there. We're going to go into games, but really quickly, I wanted to bring this up for fans that I'm kind of hoping most will not do it, because it seems very wrong of the Dodgers to do this. But hey, if you want to pay $75 to sit in your car in the Dodger Stadium parking lot to watch the game on 2 big screens, be my guest. I think it is very kind of fucked up for the Dodgers to do this to their fan base. Or in the middle of a pandemic, you don't get food. You're not allowed to tailgate. Like the Padres did this, but they allowed their fans to tailgate. They gave them hats. They gave them rally towels. They gave them food. Like the Dodgers want $75 for you to be stuck in your car to watch on the big screen. So I wanted to let you guys know that's available. Can't leave your car unless it's to use a restroom. You're not even allowed to drink alcohol. Obviously, can't have alcohol in your car open, but so yeah, if you want to spend $75 to sit there, that's how much fans are paying to sit in a pod at the actual game. So do you and enjoy, but Dodgers, you guys really could have took one for the team. And I don't think Frank McCourt deserves any more money from the fan base. So you guys, I think, really kind of botched that one. But with that said, Max Fried, Walker Buehler, what do you have for us there for tonight?
Yes. So Max Fried, a lefty, as I mentioned, he's going to rely heavily on his 4-seam fastball. He'll also throw his breaking pitches a lot, his slider and curve. He has a sinker and changeup, but those will rarely get thrown. His fastball is going to sit in the mid-90s. He'll drop off a beautiful curve at 74. And again, as I mentioned, the biggest threat facing the Dodgers is that Fried is a lefty who lefties they struggle with. But Fried struggled a little bit against the Marlins. He was really good against the Reds. It's going to be interesting to see how he does.
I don't want to interrupt you. I just know this is going to piss you off, so I'm going to tell you. Max Fried is a lefty, so guess who got the start tonight? They've already announced.
PK starting. I figured he was going to start.
Sorry, I had to. Sorry. Okay, keep going.
Yeah. So, but now that I'm slightly irritated, I am expecting Kike to hit 2 home runs.
Hey, whatever it takes.
Yeah. So, and if he doesn't, then I'm going to be more upset. But no. Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see how Fried bounces back from that Marlins game. The Dodgers are going to just have to continue doing what they've been doing. Not try to hit home runs, but manufacture runs and just drive the ball into the gaps.
It looks like, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know if it's just this year, but it looks like Fried hasn't been too much. He's had, what, 2 postseason appearances? I'm assuming. Yeah, 5 games. So not much of a strikeout pitcher right now. He only has 9 strikeouts, but he also has not walked anybody this postseason. So the Dodgers have, though, I think, been one of the best teams about not chasing. And I think that's what they'll have to do. We've seen it in the past where I think they get way too aggressive and they worry too much about we need to score early. Is there much concern with the Braves bullpen? Is there anything there that the Dodgers need to worry about from the bullpen?
I mean, they have a good bullpen. Jackson's been pitching well. They have Will Smith, as we know from the Giants. He's pitched well. Mark Melancon has somehow found that he's starting to pitch well again. So their bullpen is definitely going to be an issue for the Dodgers. Again, they're just going to have to continue doing what they've been doing. Battle, don't chase, and if you get a pitch, just try to find a gap somewhere instead of hitting a home run, and just go from there. I think the key for the Dodgers is going to be doing what they've been doing as manufacturing runs.
Definitely. And I think a big part that'll help the Dodgers if they've now played 3 games at this field. Well, actually, they played what? Did they have a 3-game series in Texas?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So they've played 6 games there, where the Braves have not played 1. So the outfielders already have a good adjustment to the outfield, which is massive. So they've already got a good read on that. They already know they can't be swinging for the fence. They know that how hard they're swinging the bat, or when they hit those balls. Some of them you would have thought went out just based on how quickly they came off the bat.
Muncy had a couple of them.
Yeah. So these guys now know, like, hey, I'm hitting the ball this hard, it's not going. Maybe instead of in the air, hit it on a line, whatever the case may be. But no, I agree. I think the team just needs to keep doing what they've done this whole time. And as long as they do that, they'll be fine. They have the advantage. They've had 6 games in this stadium, whereas the Braves have had 0. Outfield knows how to handle everything, what they've got to do. See the guys hit the ball really hard, not going out. So they've got an idea what they need to do.
It's going to be tough though, because the Braves pitching has been really good, and like I mentioned earlier, the best pitcher has been Ian Anderson.
Is he lefty or righty?
He's a righty, but he commands the zone very well. He doesn't throw his four-seam fastball all that hard, but because he gets opposing batters to whiff on his changeup and curveball, he gets batters to whiff 30% on his changeup. His changeup is by far his best pitch, kind of like we would have seen from Devin Williams had he pitched with the Brewers. So Ian Anderson is going to present a problem for the Dodgers. I'm going to be interested to see how they attack him. Are they just going to lay off the breaking pitches and hope he makes a mistake in the zone with his fastball? Because he does get a lot of those swings and misses on his fastball, but when it does get hit, it gets hit pretty hard. So I'm interested to see how the Dodgers are going to attack Anderson in that aspect. We already mentioned Max Fried. Kyle Wright is another one we'll probably see game 3 maybe. He's a sinker pitcher, and he's a ground ball pitcher. He gets a lot of ground balls from his sinker, obviously, and he also gets a lot of ground balls from his curveball. His slider is a fly ball pitch, but again, the outfield's super big and the ball doesn't seem to fly that much, so that should work out in his favor. The Braves pitching is really good, and their offense, as we know, is also good. So this is going to be a tough matchup for the Dodgers. This isn't going to be easy at all.
Yeah, I think it'll be a lot of fun. I think it'll be competitive. These teams have a lot of history, not so much recently, but the organizations have a lot of history come postseason. So I think it'll be a great series. I don't see it going.
You don't see what?
7 games? It possibly could. I just don't know if I see it. But I guess both teams though have been killing it. The thing for me is the Braves haven't had to face many like potent offenses. You don't face much in the Reds. Like the Reds were only a good team because of their pitching. And then
the Reds have a lot of power hitters, but coming with the power hitters comes a lot of strikeouts.
Yeah.
So
So you have them. You have the Marlins, who have some up and coming, but that's a very young team that doesn't have much experience come October. Their hitting is nothing compared to the Braves or the Dodgers or even the Padres. So, I mean, the Dodgers did face the Brewers. They weren't much of anything offensively.
Padres were.
Yeah, did really well against them. So really the Dodgers just have to show up and play their baseball. And as long as they take control, they should be totally fine. I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but if hopefully, again, we have another positive episode to do. So if we did, we would be talking about the World Series. So I'm curious, do you care at all who we would be facing? Do you want the Astros or do you want the Rays, or does it not matter?
Okay, so I've actually waffled back and forth on this. Like yesterday, I was watching the game, and when Altuve hit the home run in the first inning, I was upset. I was like, "This, you got to be kidding me! Like, you guys suck all your hitting, and now all of a sudden you get to the playoffs and you can hit." So I was screaming cheating. I'm not gonna lie, I screamed cheating again.
I think everybody feels that way. I don't think it doesn't matter. Yeah. I don't think they'll ever be able to play without people thinking that.
But the Braves settled down. I mean, Blake Snell didn't have his best stuff, but he fucking battled. He battled, and he got through 5 innings, 100 pitches, but only gave up that 1 run. So it was almost kind of like Buehler. Like Buehler was struggling. against the Padres, and he was just blowing fastballs by them. So yeah,
I was really impressed by Snell last night.
yeah,
That was some good work by
because he
him.
clearly did not have his best stuff, but he
No,
just somehow figured it out. So yeah.
that dude looks like he hasn't slept since baseball season started. Like
He
he's
always has bags because I used to watch him on Twitch before the season started, and he had bags under his eyes then. So I just don't think he sleeps well. That's just the way he looks.
Yeah, I think it's also a white European thing for some
Mm.
people. So apparently, it's what I've heard from other. It's just, he might just have bags, but hey, he's getting it done. That's all the Rays need him to do. I'm kind of right
But
there.
to really answer your question, the Rays would be a little scary just because they're pitching so good. But like you mentioned last week, facing the Astros and then potentially losing to them would be a million times worse than anything else. So I don't know.
Yeah, I'm kind of right there with you. And before I give my opinion, I want to hear what everyone else has to say. So if you're listening to this, let us know. Add us at Dodger Yard. Let us know if you want the Dodgers to face the Rays or the Astros. I'm seeing it all over Twitter. It seems like nobody can make up their mind. So now that we're a little bit closer, maybe you guys will have your decision made. So let us know. As for me, I'm right there with you. The Rays pitching worries me a little bit. If you go back to the Brewers series, they didn't have great pitching, but when they're decent pitchers, I mean, when you had Woodruff, Suter, they held the Dodgers pretty well. So I think it depends there. And the Rays, some of the best pitching in baseball. They have guys who can hit when they want to. I'm becoming a very big fan of, I hope I say his name right, Randy Arozarena. Big fan of him. He's a lot of fun to watch. He is killing it out there. He's already been on TV to say he is his own favorite player. He's Cuban, but he said he loves Gurriel. However, he said if he had to pick his favorite player, it would be Randy Arozarena. So I like the guy. That team has power anywhere in the lineup, kind of like the Dodgers. So yeah. However,
okay, go ahead. Sorry.
I almost want the Astros just because I almost feel like it solidifies. It's what I told you about 2017. There's not one Dodger fan that doubts that was ours, that we won that championship. Granted, we're never going to claim it because I'm not going to claim a championship that is not in our possession. It was ours. It should have been ours. It's not. We all know they were capable of beating them. I think if the Dodgers can go and beat them this year, there will no longer be a doubt in any fan base's mind, not just Dodgers. It'll be across the entire baseball world that the Astros had to cheat to win, that they faced a good team. However, if they face the Rays, they're also beating a very good team. I don't want to discredit the Rays. It's not like the Astros are going to just blow past them and make it easy, but the Rays, but the A's, not much of a competition. The Twins, not much of a competition. So I feel like that doesn't really say much about the Astros. Like when you have Carlos Correa, coming out and saying, so what are they going to say now? Like, bro, you guys scored one run against the Rays. You finally faced a real postseason team and a real play, like a real starting rotation and Blake Snell. And you got your one run in the first inning and didn't do shit the rest of the game. So it's like,
they had their chances. They missed it.
Yeah. And so I don't know. The Rays pitching worries me. But like you said, if we were to lose the Astros, I don't know what I would do. My only concern would be is the Dodgers allowing that to get to them too personally and trying to do too much and then screwing up when the game matters most. Yeah. Because they played them this year and they should have season swept them 4-0. But then you had Jansen come in and blow that one game. And then of course we had the extra innings game where Rios hit that home run. But other than that, they had no issue with them. My only other concern is the game is in Texas. And how many Astro fans are going to show up compared to Dodger fans? And I just don't know how much I really care for that. Granted, you had to buy the World Series tickets already before you even really knew who had a chance to be in the World Series. So hopefully Astro fans are like, we got lucky against the Twins. We're not going to buy these tickets. Because I think they went on sale during their series with the A's. Because I know Dodger fans probably bought a ton of the tickets, but I just am not looking forward to like there being a ton of Astro fans there and us being outnumbered in what is supposed to be a neutral playoff zone. So we'll see.
I wanted to get back to the NLCS and talk about how the Dodgers can kind of stymie the Braves offense. And as I was researching how players do, I came across something interesting. And majority of the Braves lineup struggles with the slider. So that should bode well for Kershaw if his slider's on. His slider wasn't really on against the Padres, but if it's like it was against the Brewers, that should be really good for the Dodgers. Uh, Again, Bueller's blister is an issue, so I don't think he's going to throw a slider all that much. But for the most part, they really just can't hit the slider. The only people who can have been Albies and Acuna. But
Oh,
Acuna hits all pitches well, so that's really no surprise. Acuna's just that man's damn good at baseball.
yeah.
His struggle to give energy, not energy, but struggle to run out some balls sometimes, or he'd be lackadaisical at times is a little bit irritating. But for the most part, he's really good. He steals a lot of bases as well, so that's going to be an issue. Um, Albies is really good at hitting the curveball though, so maybe don't throw curveballs to Albies. Obviously, they're a good fastball hitting team, so it's going to be interesting to see what the Dodgers because Bueller pumps the fastball. So yeah, tonight's going to be very interesting to see how Bueller attacks these hitters.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I was gonna say the Braves lineup is an issue because Acuna's good. We know Freddie Freeman's good. Ozuna's been killing the ball recently, mostly fastballs though. So throw the slider and should be all right.
Yeah, I'm not I to me that is the worry. You mentioned they have good pitching. I'm not too concerned about the pitching just because our guys looked really good. They did not look silly against the Padres. They did not look silly against the Brewers. They weren't great against the Brewers. They stepped it up against the Padres. Um, and like I said, I think with fans, it could potentially change things. I'm sure there will be more Dodger fans there than Braves fans because Dodger fans are everywhere. They're in Texas. They're traveling. I've already seen pictures of people on their way there. So it's gonna be a fun series. But yeah, the lineup for the Braves is what worries me the most. If the Dodgers can go out and hit their pitching, I don't think there's gonna be an issue at all for the Dodgers to win this. I think realistically it goes 6 games, but I also would not be surprised if the Dodgers win it in 5. But I think that just might be my bias.
So if recent memory tells you then the Dodgers should beat the Braves because they have what the past few times in the playoffs. But
Mhm.
I don't know. This at some point it's gonna catch up with them and the Braves are gonna win. Will it be this time? I don't know. I think it's gonna go 7. I think this is gonna be a lot more difficult than people are saying. Um, but hey, I was wrong about I thought the Padres here was going 5 and the Dodgers were just like, haha, no, we're gonna get it done in 3. And I was just like, all right, cool, that works.
Yeah. No, I
So
yeah.
maybe I'm wrong here, but I think the Braves are going to provide a serious issue because they actually have their pitching, whereas the Padres didn't.
No, I'm right there with you too. Like I see it going 6 games. It wouldn't surprise me if it goes 5 in the Dodgers. However, there would be no shock, no surprise, nothing at all if this goes 7 games. Like if this goes 7 games, I'm not going to be like, wow, the Dodgers screwed this up. They blew it. They ruined it. Like if it goes 7 games, I'm going to be like, okay, this was always a possibility. Both teams are here fighting. So if it goes 7, I won't be surprised. I don't know. Something feels very different about this team. Like they are very set on a goal to go out there and win. And it seems like right now they don't have time for any pit stops. So going 7 games just doesn't seem like it would be what they're doing. But like you said, playoffs are crazy. Eventually things start turning around for some teams. Braves have were ready to go. Luckily, our guys did not have to travel. They didn't really have to travel either a couple hours, but our guys have been in their bubble hotel, same hotel, didn't have to get on a bus, have been practicing at the same field. So hopefully they have some advantages, but it's gonna be a fun game tonight. No matter what happens, I think it's gonna be a great series. If we are on here next week talking about a Dodgers win, I will be pumped. If not, I'm still very happy we got as much of this season as we did. But
So, well, you said the lineup was out, right?
No, Roberts just said yesterday that Kike, it was either yesterday or today, but he just confirmed that Kike would get the start because of Fried. So that they made that decision in advance.
So then who sits is the question. Is Taylor gonna sit?
Probably. Yeah, probably going 0 for 11. I'd imagine. I don't know how you sit, and you can't sit Muncy. I don't know how you not sit in Turner. So yeah, that's probably about it. I don't think you're definitely not sitting a Pollock against a lefty, sitting Pollock against a lefty. So yeah, we'll see. I guess you could put Turner on DH and move Muncy to third and put like Belly at first and Kike at second. I don't know. There's so many things this team can do, but
play center.
Oh right, we took Taylor out. I don't know. I don't know. It's probably going to just be a swap Taylor for Kike. Yeah. And then you'll just have Pollock in left, Belly in center, and Betts in right, and Kike at second with Muncy at first. So that's probably what'll come out. I expect Kike to hit hopefully 8th. You could put Barnes in there at 9th. Probably deserves to even be higher than Kike, but I wouldn't mind if he's
Barnes.
Yeah. Or no, sorry, not Barnes. Smith. Barnes won't catch it. Kershaw's not today. Okay. My bad. No, Kershaw's not today. Smith. So yeah,
Smith's gonna bat fifth like he usually has.
Yeah, and he should. He should. The end.
So I think Kike will go last because Taylor's been batting 9th.
Okay. Yeah. You're right. And yeah, so that sounds about right. But we'll see. It should be. Actually, the lineup should be coming out in the next hour or two. Yeah. So we will have an answer there. I've pretty much touched on everything I wanted to. Is there anything else?
I wanted to make a correction. I misspoke. I said Albies struggles with something the most, but he struggles with the curve. He hits the slider well. He just struggles with the curve the most. Yeah.
Okay. So I
just wanted to correct that. Yeah. Okay.
So that could do some good though with Kershaw on the mound then if he can't hit the curve. So, but yeah. Other than that, I'm gonna get ready to go and watch this Rays and Astros game. Starts in about an hour. Watch that and then get ready for the Dodger game.
Do you know who's on the mound? Is it Honeywell
for the Rays?
Oh no, it's Morton. It's Charlie Morton, isn't it?
It's actually it's Morton versus McCullers. So
fuck McCullers. Charlie Morton was on that 2017 team, so it should be interesting.
Yep, that'll be fun. So we'll see what happens there. And as always, make sure you guys leave a rating and review. It would mean the world to us. Don't forget to subscribe. Follow us on social at Dodger Yard. Follow my personal at Randy_Radcliffe.
And follow my personal at Michael Konu, MyKalkonu.
And we hope you guys have a good rest of your day, night, morning, afternoon, weekend, whenever you listen to this. Go Dodgers, get that win. And we hope to be talking to you guys next week about the World Series and us being in it, not missing it again. So with that said, hope you guys have a good rest of your day and we'll catch you next week. Bye guys.
See you later, guys.